Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans of all ages, this is Todd Lights, public address announcer for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And now, leading off Facebook Live Friday nights at 8 p.m., number 19, Chris Pomey, the host of 30 Minutes Live with CDP. Hey fans, it's a weekly sports talk show talking about the MLB, the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, and of course the Philadelphia Eagles. Tune in. You won't regret it.
Hey guys, again, I'm going to try one more time with former Major League pitcher Jerry Royce. We'll see if this works this time. I really appreciate Jerry coming on tonight and for his patience. There's obviously a technical difficulty, and I don't think it's on my end, but hopefully we can get Jerry back on, and we'll try again because I was looking forward to talking to him. He's one of 29 Major League Baseball players in history to play 4 decades in Major League Baseball, from 1969 to 1990. Two-time National League All-Star in 1975 and 1980, threw a no-hitter June 27th, 1980 against the Giants, almost had a perfect game. And he also helped the Dodgers win the 81 World Series against the Yankees, won 2 games in the postseason, including beating the Yankees in one of the key games there. And he's got over 220 career wins as well. And we're just going to bring him on, and we're going to cross our fingers this works this time. One sec, guys. We're going to see if this works. Hi, Jerry.
I can hear you. I can see you.
Oh, that's great. I apologize. I guess some things happen with technology.
Yeah, I went in and checked things out with mine, pushed a button or two, and maybe I did something right on this end, and here we are.
Okay, well, I really appreciate your patience. So, anyways, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing well.
Good. I was going to say, I was just thinking, one second, I think it's on my end. I got some feedback, and I think it's just on my end. Okay. Just one second.
Sure.
I just made sure, close off my face. Okay, that's off. Okay, just 1 second. Anyways, how are you doing? Good?
Yeah, everything's good.
Good day. Okay, just gonna close this off. And 1 more second. Get that on. Okay. Well, let's see what we can do. I just have a little feedback on my end. I just thought I had Facebook still on my.
Yeah. Okay. That's a happy looking guy right there.
I'm back.
How's your feedback?
I think I got rid of it.
Did you get rid of it?
I think I did. I made sure I kicked off everything else. What I'm gonna do is do this audio. Just gonna. Okay, can you hear me now, Joe?
Oh yeah, I can hear you clear now.
Better. Okay, good. Anyways, like I said, it's just one of these nights. It's like. Anyways, okay. I was gonna show a video clip of your no-hitter, but I think we'll just skip that tonight.
Did you get it from my Flickr site?
I got it from your YouTube channel.
I posted it there as well.
Yes, Vin Scully did the TV on it, and it was from your YouTube channel.
You know, I looked at that video recently because I wanted to actually chart the game. And I watched it might have been about the second time that I watched it all the way through. I wanted to count the pitches, the number of strikes, and any other thing that struck my fancy. And I came up with a couple of things that I thought was pretty interesting. So there you go.
What I was going to say is I was impressed how you pitched that game. 9 innings, no hits. You only had 2 strikeouts, and the only blemish was the error by Bill Russell, the shortstop.
Yeah, I've talked about that over the years. Now, remember, this happened 31 years ago next month. And one thing that happened with regards to Russell's error, that allowed Jack Clark, who hit me pretty well, to reach base. Now, somewhere in his opportunity, or in his running the second on the next ground ball off the bat of Murray, he hurt himself and had to come out of the game a couple of innings later. So I didn't have to face Jack Clark, who, as I said, hit me well in the later innings. So that might have been a break.
When did you know you had something special going? Like what inning?
It's hard to say. From the first inning, I knew that it was a no-hitter because every game was a no-hitter the way it started out. And you get through the lineup one time and you think, okay, we got something going. Let's see what happens here. And fortunately, the Dodgers put some runs on the board, and that gave me a little breathing room. When I got through the second 3 innings and I got to the 6th, I said, we have a chance here. And then with every succeeding out, the drama kept building until we got to the final out in the 9th inning. And once that ground ball was tapped back to me off the bat of Bill North and I made the throw successfully to first, then it was a reality.
I was going to say, did you guys have a pitch count back then?
They always had pitch counts, but pitch limits were they were flexible. And if a pitcher was still throwing hard and the opposition wasn't swinging the bat that well against him, then the pitcher stayed in. Usually it was the manager's eyes that determined the pitch limit. But in that ball game, if I remember my numbers correctly, it was 107 pitches with 72 for strikes. I'll take that ratio of close to 70% anytime.
And that must have been an awesome feeling doing it against a good Giants team at Candlestick Park. Because I imagine that was not an easy stadium to pitch in.
Well, Candlestick had its own personality. The swirling winds during night games, even day games could be difficult, even though it was a bit warmer. But once you got around 3:15, 3:30, the wind started whipping. And, well, it was a little uncomfortable for anybody. If I wasn't pitching, I could watch a piece of paper while sitting on the bench go from left field to right field, stop in center, and then make its way back to left field. It was a sight to behold, and a difficult time to watch in a night game because it just got plain cold along with those winds.
Yeah, there's a stadium in Toronto that was like that too. Exhibition Stadium.
What was that in Toronto? Yeah, that's right. You're from Canada.
Yeah, I live about an hour from Toronto.
So yeah, I just visited Exhibition Stadium a couple of times. So I knew that it was odd in the sense that the outfield seemed to slope toward both dugouts. So the high point was in center field, and it may have sloped as much as 6 inches as you would walk to either foul line. But it was a football stadium that had seats that went on forever in the outfield from center field on, well, toward downtown. But it was unique, and I bet there's some interesting stories about the games that were played there prior to moving into Rogers Center.
Yeah, I was going to say next Friday, I'm going to have Jerry Howarth, the former Blue Jays announcer, on my podcast. He did the Jays games for 36 years.
Well, then I think we'll leave it to him to tell the stories, as only someone who was there consistently over a long period of time can tell them.
I was going to say, and I always like checking out your pictures on Flickr with all the old stadiums.
Yeah, that was fun to do. It was before the '88 season, I wasn't certain I was going to play because I couldn't get an offer from any team to join them in spring training. The White Sox came along the first week in February and said, we'll take a shot. And it was based on the fact that Tom Seaver played for the Sox years before, and Jerry Reinsdorf said that, Seaver came over here, and to have him on the staff helped 9 other pitchers. That was when teams carried 10 pitchers. He said, I'd ask around about you, and they tell me that you're the same kind of person. If you can help develop 9 other pitchers and help us get better over a period of time, then I'll take a chance on you. And he did, and it worked out well for both of us.
Well, and back then, baseball was a little different. A lot of pitchers were throwing 200, 270 innings a year.
Oh, it was definitely different. Now, remember, this was in 1988, so we're talking 33 years ago. And that's an eternity, and probably some of your listeners and viewers weren't even alive then. So the makeup of the different leagues, there was no interleague play. The rules were different. The stadiums that I saw in 1988, many of them don't exist anymore. So that's just a couple of the rules right off the top that compromises the big change in baseball from the time I finished playing in 1990 to the day here as we speak.
Wow. Before I get into questions, I just wanted to promote your book.
Oh, don't forget that.
Nope, I did not. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to put it on here. 1 second. Yeah. And I'm just going to take that off. Yeah, if you want to just tell my audience a little bit about your book that was published in 2014.
Yeah, it took 3 years to write after 65 years to experience everything that I put in it. So it was my first stab at writing a story, and it was a lot of fun, and I learned quite a bit doing it. And it covers, well, the period of time from the time I first picked up a baseball until I retired in 1990. And it even goes a little bit beyond that into the broadcasting era that I had. So it's a pretty good read. People have told me that they bought it, they liked it. So anybody that's interested in baseball with the 70s and 80s as a backdrop, well, you can pick up a copy. And if you want it signed and inscribed, you can get it by going to my website, jerryroyce.com. I see the trailer down below, and find your way around to ordering a book.
Definitely, and I'm going to have to look at getting the book as myself because I'm a huge baseball fan.
Well, you'll like this because it tells about my life, but also about baseball. And, well, the two are interchangeable. So it's a fun read. There's a lot of funny stuff that happened, but also a lot of changes from the time I was, well, when I first signed, 18 years old, until I retired at age 41.
Wow. And I was going to say, that's just amazing again. Pitching in the late 60s, right to 1990.
Yeah, that was luck. It was the luck of being born when I was, and then being called up in September in 1969. That, of course, put me on the map, and playing until I was 1990 when I was called up by the Pirates as a September call-up. So I went full circle, and in the process was able to play in games in 4 different decades. So when you play that long, a lot of asterisks go beside your name.
And I was going to say, you were born in Missouri. And what was it like being drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals in the 67 draft?
I didn't expect the Cardinals to draft me. And the reason why is that they always stayed in the background. I didn't know who was going to do it because there was no rumors or any place to read about it in newspapers. There was no online. So it was just a matter of waiting for the phone call. And when I got it, I found out that I was drafted by the Cardinals. It worked out well for me, being a hometown boy in St. Louis with the dreams of playing Major League Baseball. but it was a bonus. It's like a second scoop of ice cream on that cone when you have a chance to play for your hometown team.
Yeah, they have quite a tradition in St. Louis.
Oh, they do. Now, it was a bit different when I played there. Busch Stadium 2 had just opened. It was 3 or 4 years old when I played there for the first time, but it outlived its time. I guess everything has an expiration date, and they have a new ballpark there now. So, yeah, it was quite an experience back in 1967, and signing with the Cardinals and making my way through the minor leagues.
I was going to say, was Steve Carlton with the Cardinals when you joined them?
Yeah, Carlton was there. He came up in 60. I hope I get this right. Let me say this. He pitched in 1964 because I remember seeing him in one of the World Series games. So you can imagine this. You're in school, in grade school. You're watching your hometown team in the World Series in, let's say, 1964. Just 5 short years later, I'm sitting on the same bench with the guys that I watched play in the 64, 67, and 68 World Series.
Yes. And I'm a Detroit Tigers fan, and they beat the Cardinals in the 68 World Series in 7 games.
Yeah, that was quite a World Series, and it was a big thing for Detroit. I can understand that, but a bit of a disappointment for the Cardinals in 68 because they wanted to, of course, win back-to-back. When you get to the World Series, you don't want to stop there. You want to win. So it didn't happen. I tipped my cap to the Tigers of 68 for the job they did.
I was going to say, and they had a riot in Detroit that 67 or 68, so that was a big deal for Detroit that year.
Yeah, well, you don't want a riot. You want everybody to enjoy the celebration. A riot, well, I guess we saved that for another podcast.
I was going to say, and I miss that old stadium, Tiger Stadium.
You know, I pitched there a couple of times. I liked it. And once you're in there and you can experience all that goes on and respect all the different players over the years that played there. World Series were played there, All-Star games, the best ever in the American League from the time it was in service played there. A lot of National Leaguers got a chance to play there, myself included. So when you take a look at that, when you walked into Tiger Stadium, you could feel the history. And I, for one, when sitting on that bench, could respect that.
I was lucky my late dad took me to a game there at Exhibition Stadium and the Vet in Philadelphia.
Those are three pretty good spots. Now, did you see games at the Vet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you didn't get a chance to see Connie Mack Stadium or Shibe Park, whichever it was called at the time.
Little before my time.
Well, I got to pitch there once, so
cool.
That was an experience in itself.
Philadelphia is a great sports town.
It is. It's among them.
I was going to say, it's hard to believe they had 2 teams there at one point, the Philadelphia A's and the Phillies.
Well, the same thing could be said for Boston as well and St. Louis. A couple of teams in the city, and, well, you got to figure somebody's going to survive. And in Boston, of course, it was the Red Sox. And, well, those things just happen with the Phillies. Or with the A's, they went to Kansas City and then to Oakland. So, it's just baseball updating itself and trying to refresh itself and be relevant.
Okay. Is it okay if I start asking you a few questions?
Yeah, let's see what we got.
Okay. Let's see. Can you just tell my audience just a little bit about yourself, and when did you know when you wanted to pursue a career in baseball?
Born and raised in St. Louis, signed a contract with the Cardinals. Instead of taking a basketball scholarship to a number of schools in the Midwest, including Southern Illinois and the University of Missouri and a number of small colleges, I opted to play baseball. 27 months after I signed, I pitched my first game in the big leagues. Was also in the Army Reserve and missed a little bit of time in 1970 and went to the minor leagues and did quite well in AAA and was called up in mid-1970. Stayed in the major leagues until 1987 when I was released by the Dodgers. At that time, they allowed teams to send someone to the minor leagues to show what you had, if you still had anything left. And then I came back to Tiger Stadium, pitched well against the Tigers in an exhibition game, and was picked up by the Reds. That didn't last very long. Ended this '87 season with the Angels, a season and a half beginning in '88 with the White Sox, half season with the Brewers, and then the final month of my 1990 season was spent with the Pirates.
Okay. I was going to say there was 2 years you missed out on a world championship. The 79 Pirate, because I believe you went LA in 79, and then the Dodgers won it in 88.
Well, I don't think I missed out on anything. It was a career decision.
Okay.
I had asked for a trade with the Pirates because I was destined to spin my wheels in the dugout, and I needed a breath of fresh air. So it just was fortunate for me that the Dodgers needed a left-handed pitcher, and a trade was made. I went to the Dodgers, played there in '79. Rick Roden went to the Pirates, and consider how lucky he was. He was with the Dodgers in '77 and '78, joined the Pirates, so 3 consecutive years, he was with the World Series ball club.
That's
So
amazing.
It worked out well for him, and it worked out well for me because I restored my career in 1980 and then played in the '81 World Series where the Dodgers beat the Yankees.
In 6 games.
In 6 games, that's right.
And you guys were actually down 2-0 in that
Yeah,
series.
we lost the first 2 in New York, won 3 in a row, 3 one-run games in Los Angeles, and then came back, had a big inning in New York, and won 4 in a row and took the World Championship in 1981.
And that was the Dodgers' first championship since '65, I believe.
I don't know. I'm guessing that was it.
Yeah, the Twins. I think the Twins. I'm kind of a baseball history guy.
Yeah.
So, but I was going to say, what was it like winning it in New York City in Yankee Stadium?
Well, if I had my druthers, we would have won it in Dodger Stadium. But that's not the way it worked out. We won it in New York, celebrated, flew back to Los Angeles, and when in that overnight flight, we got back just before the traffic really hit, but there was 10,000 fans at the airport ready to celebrate with us. So upon getting back in Los Angeles, we went home, slept, rested a day, and then things began. It was a short time later. We won it on a Wednesday, rested on Thursday. Friday, there was a parade. I appeared with Yeager, Monday, and Jay Johnstone on a program called Fridays, which was a takeoff on Saturday Night Live on ABC, which was a day before Saturday Night Live. So we appeared there, and then on Sunday, we went into the recording studio, Capitol Records, and recorded 2 songs, We Are the Champions and New York, New York. I'm trying to forget those things. And appeared on The Tonight Show on Monday, where we debuted the song. So
Wow.
It was a crazy week because after that, we were on, Mike Douglas was among one of the shows that we appeared on. Merv Griffin was another. And we capped off that week with an appearance on Saturday morning on Solid Gold. Now, if you're into YouTube, you can type in Big Blue Wrecking Crew and you can see that performance. By the time we got to Saturday, we had our song and dance pretty well together. So it looks pretty good there, but I have to give you a warning and a caution here because you can't unsee it once you see it.
Okay. Definitely. Okay, good to know. Gonna ask you some more questions. Are you okay for a little more time?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Next one I was going to ask you, do you remember your first Major League Baseball start? Which team and first batter you faced?
It was in Montreal in September, and I think it was Darryl Sutherland.
Wow, and that would have been at a Jerry Park
Yeah,
before the Olympic Stadium.
that's right.
How did you like pitching in that stadium?
But I liked it because, well, I was pitching in the major leagues. Anytime you pitch in the major leagues, the stadium, well, you know it's going to be as good as it can possibly be.
And I wish Montreal had a team again. I miss the Expos.
Uh-huh.
So, okay. Next one I was going to ask you. What was the biggest adjustment from high school baseball to the minor leagues, briefly, to the major leagues?
No, they're the biggest adjustment you can imagine. We had a good high school baseball team. We won the state championship 2 years in a row. And in the minor leagues, I saw players that would have been championship caliber players at every position. So it was playing against the best high schoolers and some college players when I got to the rookie league. And then from the rookie league, each classification, the players were a little bit better and a little more experienced. But when you get to the big leagues, that's where the biggest difference was of all, because these were guys that had played in the big leagues and been successful for a number of years.
One question I was going to ask you, did you have a mentor that sort of helped you out to make the adjustment?
There was always somebody around, no one in particular. Much of it was by observation. Other times I asked a question.
Okay. Next question I was going to ask you, how difficult was it moving from another team, city during your major league career and switching leagues to the AL in late 87, 88?
Well, it comes with the territory. I'm sure there are other people out there that had to make moves from one company to another. In this particular case, I didn't have a choice. I was told that your contract has been assigned, you'll report at such and such a time. So it kind of takes the romance out of being with one organization, particularly one that you came up with in the minor leagues. So you leave that behind, you join another club, and I was traded again to Pittsburgh just 2 years later. So in the space of less than 3 years, I was with 3 different teams.
Yep, St. Louis, Houston, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so after that happens, your head's kind of spinning a little bit, and you ask yourself a question like, I got to find a place to stay here and take root. And I thought it was in Pittsburgh, but, well, things changed. After 5 years there, it was time to get on the road again, this time to Los Angeles, where I spent 8 years. And then toward the end of the career, it's find a team that can use you for a short period of time and finish things out on your own terms.
What was it like being a Los Angeles Dodgers for that organization?
Well, it worked for me, and apparently it worked for them because they reached the World Series in 77 and 78 and dropped off in 79, but picked things back up in 80 and were in the postseason in 81. Let's see if I can remember, 83, and then again in 85. But every September was important because we had a chance to win it. Just some years we didn't do that.
It's so hard. Even back then, yeah.
Tough. That's why they call it the major leagues.
That's true. It's like I'm a Tigers fan, and we won in 84, and we were supposed to win in 85. It never happened. And the Tigers had some good teams in the 80s.
Well, it's competitive. And
definitely.
It's a long season.
Definitely. I was going to say, any thoughts on Tommy Lasorda, one of the greatest managers in baseball's history?
Well, we were good for one another because we played well off one another personally. And, well, it was fun playing for him because with the Dodgers, we played on a natural turf stadium, probably the best, in my opinion, in all of baseball during the years that I played. Plus, the Dodgers did things first class. Of course, the travel was on their own plane. And if you needed anything, there was always somebody there to help you. It was that way in other organizations, but with the Dodgers, it was just a step above anything else that you could ever imagine, from spring training to the postseason. It was always done first class. And Tommy was a big part of that.
And you also you pitched for Chuck Tanner and Jim Leyland, I believe, in 1990.
Yeah, I played for 3 different managers with Pittsburgh, Danny Murtaugh, then Chuck Tanner. When Danny retired, Chuck Tanner was hired. And after Chuck Tanner, I was with Los Angeles and a couple of other teams until I rejoined Pittsburgh in 1990 when Jim Leyland was the manager.
And he ended up with Detroit years later.
Yeah, he made some moves himself, didn't he?
Yes, he
was
did.
in Colorado for a while, and then even though he wasn't a manager, I think he signed on and worked with some other teams as a scout or in some form or fashion. First-class individual.
Definitely. He came up in the Tiger system, too, back in the 70s.
You can understand then why he would want to return there.
And we got spoiled there with Sparky Anderson. Did you ever have any dealings with Sparky Anderson?
Yeah, Sparky and I split the schedule for the Angels television from 1996 to 1998. Sparky did the home games, said he didn't want to travel, and that opened up a slot for me. So I did primarily all the road games for the Angels, but occasionally our paths would cross. And what was interesting about that, I got to know him as a person, whereas when I played against the Reds or any team that he happened to manage, it's professional and it's not designed to get to know somebody personally. So for me, that was a bonus.
I was going to say, after you retired in 1990, you were with ESPN from 91 to 93. How much of an adjustment was it going as a player to the media, broadcasting side of it?
Oh, it's huge. Totally different. The preparation is different. Physically, you don't have to do as much. That's probably the biggest difference. But being on air and available for every play of every game, it's a little bit different. But I was ready for it. I look forward to it, just like I look forward to broadcasting some minor league games later this season.
And you did some play-by-play as well.
Well, I did that in the minor leagues. I do when I was working in 2019. Nobody worked last year. I got a chance to do some play-by-play. Did it for about 15 years. So, and doing an entire game yourself, well, that's an experience as well. So, broadcasting-wise, I worked for ESPN. I worked for Baseball Night in America. There was Sports Vision that was in there. Of course, all of those independent entities ended up into Fox's network. And I never worked for Fox, but I did work over the air in California for Channel 9. And then I did 3 years of radio, about 40 games each season for the Dodgers.
And that was with Rick Monday?
Yeah, Rick did the play, and then I was the analyst. So that was a little bit of a crazy time. If you really wanted the ball game the way that players talk about it, you should have heard us between innings. That was real baseball.
And what I remember about Rick Monday is that Blue Monday home run against the Expos in the 81 National League Championship Series.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't hit that home run, we don't go to New York to play the Yankees in the World Series. But you know what's interesting about that 81 team is that everybody contributed. If you take a look at the roster and find out who everybody was and take a look at the stats, everybody contributed not only during the season, but in the postseason. That's why we had 3 co-MVPs.
That's true, and you'll never see that again, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know if you will or if you won't. All I know is I saw it once, and that's enough.
That was amazing. But how good was that Expos team that you beat?
Well, they were real good. They were real good. And what's interesting is that most of that club was homegrown, and they were just approaching the prime of their careers. Everybody was in their early 30s at the latest, and they did have some guys who had played together for a long period of time. And when you have that kind of team that works together through the minor leagues and then through the big leagues, well, you're going to see the fruits of their efforts. And the Expos were a pretty good ball club in 1981.
And fortunately, they never had a chance to get to a World Series.
Well, that was because of the Dodgers. But if they go to
That's
the World
true.
Series, I don't. So what do you think I'm going to choose?
That's true.
They
had
very true.
They had a chance in '94, and then the strike kind of took that away.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but that was after I played, so I really wasn't on top of all that was about. So, it's one of those unfortunate things, and well, we live with it.
Well, like I said, I hope the Expos are back in the major leagues in the next few years.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Definitely. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Who was the most difficult hitter you faced, and what was it like to throw a no-hitter? I guess that question you've already answered.
Yeah,
but what was
about that? I can't tell you who the most difficult hitter was because there was a lot of them. And if you go on retrosheet.org and type my name in, or just work your way through the menu to get there, they have the list of everybody that I faced. And you can work that out for yourself. A lot of guys I did well against that were Hall of Famers, and then there were other Hall of Famers that, well, hit me like a Hall of Famer. And then there were some guys where you would least expect to have success against me. They did pretty well too. But then I got a lot of other people out as well. So take a look at it if you have that interest, and make a decision for yourself.
Okay. What was your best pitch, or the one that you went to when you needed it the most?
Well, usually something on the corner about knee high. Didn't matter whether it was a fastball or a sinker or a curveball. That was the best pitch.
Okay. Next question I was going to ask you. What were some of your favorite Major League Baseball cities and stadiums pitched in besides Dodgers Stadium?
I like Comiskey Park because of the history.
I got to go there, but after they demolished it, I got to go to home plate in the parking lot.
Well, that's as close. If that's as close as you get, it's still not quite the flavor. But there was that sense of history at Comiskey Park, and I got a chance to experience it a season and a half. There was nothing pretty about the clubhouse, the dugouts, or even sitting in the stands, but there was some history there. Negro League players played there. All-Star games were played there. Exhibitions were played there. So there is a bunch of history at Comiskey, and if you sat there when nobody was there and you got real quiet, you could hear the ghost of all of those people who played there who would come back. If you close your eyes and wish real hard, maybe you could imagine what some of it looked like.
And 80 years of history. Unfortunately, it's sad. There's only a couple stadiums left with that history. Actually, Dodger Stadium, Fenway Park, and Wrigley Field.
Yeah, that's just the way the game goes. When you can't support your stadium anymore, then you have to build a new one, and it works out well for everybody.
Yeah, that's true. And I was going to say, what American League cities other than Comiskey Park that you liked?
I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the American League. I thought Anaheim was good because it was close to home. Tiger Stadium, as I said, you could sense the history. The original Yankee Stadium, it was a lot of fun to walk around there because you walked in the same place that the Yankee greats did. Fenway Park was a fun ballpark. I can't think of a place that was bad simply because there were older ballparks And this was before the explosion of new ballparks that now dot the landscape.
And even Toronto's now looking at a new ballpark.
Wow.
Yeah, and Rogers Center is only 31, 32 years old.
Wow, that surprises me.
I guess because it was built in the mid 80s, and now everything all has to be modernized.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Definitely. Did you ever get a chance to go to Oakland? Play for?
Yeah, I played in Oakland.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
How was that stadium?
It was a comfortable place to pitch, but the lineup that they put up there against you, it was a pretty good lineup. So you really couldn't enjoy pitching there that much because that was a good ball club.
I was going to say, and they're going to be looking for a new stadium too, as well.
Well, I hope they get it.
I do too. I do. They've had a great tradition there. Okay, two more questions for you, and that's it. How many photos did you end up taking at all the stadiums in the Major League Baseball that you pitched in?
Oh boy, I couldn't tell you. Maybe close to 1,000.
That's a lot. Can you just tell my audience again where they can find your work?
Yeah, go to Flickr, FLICKR.com, and then type my name in because I have a whole page to myself. And then once you get on that page, you can look at the albums. There's some personal things on there. And then I also have each ballpark that I took pictures of in their own separate group. So there's a lot to see there. If you're looking for a ballpark that no longer exists from the 80s and it was in the American League, you'll find it there. You'll find pictures of it right there.
Definitely. Yeah, I love looking at that stuff.
Well, a lot of people do because it's a reminder of a time past, and considering the fact that it's over 30 years since I played, so these pictures, 30 some years old, you get a chance to relive a couple of memories if you're old enough. But if you want to look at it from a historic standpoint before you were born, well, this gives you an idea of how maybe your favorite team transitioned from an old ballpark to the park they currently play in.
Okay. And my last question for you. Any advice for those looking to pursue a career in baseball?
Well, if you want to do it as a player, you got to practice. And obviously that takes talent, and maybe your name will be chosen. But if you want a career in the front office, maybe as a scout or maybe as somebody who works in a front office in a management position, I'm sure that you can find a school curriculum through your high school or even especially through some of the major colleges because they have a sports administration curriculum. It probably would do you wise to take some classes, and if you graduate in sports administration, well, you've taken a big step toward realizing your goal working in Major League Baseball.
Okay. And my goal right now is try to get into radio. And I'm just trying to improve on my podcast every week.
Well, good luck.
Oh, before I let you go, any thoughts on Vin Scully?
He's the best there ever was. And I think so many people have written about him in books and explains why he's the best there ever was so much better than I could right here.
Okay. And I was lucky too as a Tiger fan. I had Ernie Harwell for many years.
He's another good one.
There's a lot of great ones. And I grew up in radio. Yes.
That's it.
Definitely. Jerry, I'm going to let you go, but I hope again you might be able to come on as a guest and we'll not have any technical difficulties.
Okay, we can do that. Chris, thank you for having me, and to all of the people that are watching, thanks for tuning in and continue to do so.
And again, can you let them know where you can get your book?
Choice.com. It's
Okay,
on the homepage, and one click can get you all taken care of.
Okay, thank you so much, Jerry, and we'll be in touch. Keep in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jerry. Good night. anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my interview with Jerry Royce. I apologize again for the technical difficulties. I think it was on both of our ends. At first, I believe it was on Jerry's end, and then I had some audio feedback on my end. I hope I thank Jerry Royce for coming on and being patient with me. And whoever watches this live, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you know what? Sometimes things happen with technology. So I'm just thankful I was able to get this interview with Jerry Royce in again. And please check out his website, jerryroyce.com. And like I said, I will put his book on here too. 1 second. I will put his book on here. I did have it here, guys. Like I said, 1 second. It's right here. It's called Bring In the Right-Hander. He published it in 2014, and it talks about his 22-year career in the major leagues from 1969 to 1990. And his most successful years were 79 to 87 with the Dodgers and winning a World Series with Tommy Lasorda in 1981 with the Dodgers. So hopefully I'll have Jerry come back on as a guest, and hopefully the audio on both sides will be much better. Before I go tonight, guys, I'm going to do a shout out to my friend Gary, known as Big G. Check out his podcast. It's a golf-based podcast called The Balance 519. And Gary talks about his gym, fitness, nutrition, UFC, some politics, and some various other subjects. So please check out Gary. Big G is his name on The Balance 519. And you can also, he's on Facebook, he's on Twitter, he's on TikTok, and you can check out Gary's Balance 519 on his YouTube channel if you want to hit subscribe as well. And speaking of that, guys, if you want to watch my previous podcasts, you guys can check me out on YouTube as well. So you guys can follow me on Facebook, my sports blog on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And guys, if anybody's interested, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit like towards my previous podcasts, and some of my sports trip videos are on there as well. So yeah, I am on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And also, guys, before I go, just to let you guys know, I'm also on audio version. Audio version of my podcast is on Google Podcasts. It's on Anchors, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Spotify as well. So I will download this episode when I'm finished here. But like I said, guys, just 1 second. I'm going to put a comment on here. Let's see, Mark. You have audio feedback. Yeah, unfortunately it happens, Mark. So I apologize. Hopefully my next show will be better. Jerry, I think I'm going to have it on again. And hopefully next time we won't have any audio feedback. And let's see, Trevor, good guess. For how many teams did Jerry Royce play for? 8 teams, Trevor, to answer your question. And it's Jerry Royce. Reuss, Jerry Royce. You can check him out on his website as well. So Mark and Trevor, thank you for watching. And anyone who watches this later on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, thank you. And same with audio too, with all my audio podcasts as well. So hopefully, like I said, the next show I don't have as many technical difficulties. Like I said, guys, I'm going to put on who my next guest is. And my next show will be, let's see, my next 30 Minutes Live with CDP show will be Wednesday, May 26th at 7 o'clock. Guest is Dave Gixter from 97 Rock FM in Buffalo. He's a promotion director and he's an on-air personality. And I'm going to talk to Dave about his career on radio with 97 Rock in Buffalo and his charity work he does in the Buffalo area, and about his Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Sabres, because he's a big football and hockey guy. And I look forward to talking to Dave this Wednesday, May 26th at 7 o'clock. And I look forward to it. So anyways, guys, like I said, Again, thank you all for watching 30 Minutes Live with CDP. And if you have any questions before I go, please feel free to ask. I do have another guest coming on next Friday night, and I will announce it on Monday. So yeah, this Monday I'll announce my guest for next Friday. It's a big guest, and I'm looking forward to it. All of my guests are big, but this guy, he's had such a career in Major League Baseball, and I'm very lucky that he can come on. So anyways, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching 30 Minutes Live with CDP on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and then later on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor FM, and Spotify, and the other ones as well. So anyways, like I said, guys, I'm going to call it a night, but I hope you all have a great weekend. Have a great Victoria Day Monday holiday here in Canada, and we'll see you guys this Wednesday night, May 26th at 7 o'clock Eastern with Dave Gixter from 97 Rock FM in Buffalo. Have a good weekend, guys. Thanks a lot for watching 30 Minutes Live with CDP.